Have you ever felt stuck in this life? For years, you've been praying for something, and even for decades, and it just does not seem to manifest. And someone that you know who puts in less effort than you, someone younger than you, with less responsibilities than you, seem to have it easier. And so you say, what happened to me? Is the universe against me? Are the gods against me? Does God hate me? A job that you wanted to leave for so long, a project that you're supposed to work on, you're supposed to write a book, eat better, have a better diet, something that you've been working on for years, decades, and it just can't seem to be accomplished. And the worst part is you've spent nights in unimaginable emotional pain, crying out to God for guidance. And as if that's not bad enough, the unrelenting cycle of hope, then disappointment, hope, then disappointment, hope, then disappointment. And then it eats away at your confidence. It eats away at your substance. And then you begin to ask, well, why am I here? Because what even is this? Why am I stuck? But I have good news for you. You are not stuck. You are distracted. What? Distracted? That is the grand revelation that you have? Yes. Because you know your goals. You have written down your goals already, because in Habakkuk it tells us to write our vision and make it plain. You have studied the subject of your goals. You have consulted with the right people. You have meditated and practiced gratitude. You have bought color-coded pens and color-coded each goal, each step, each location, each phase, each time frame. You have project managed your goals better than any software could, yet still it can't manifest. Because when it comes down to taking action and it is time for you to lock in, somebody comes to you with an issue. And all of a sudden, their emergency becomes your purpose. Their conundrum becomes your Rubik's Cube. All of a sudden, you need to help Sister Matthews because Sister Matthews needs your help. No, you need your help. Now, don't get me wrong. Community is important and you should help. But in the safety procedure of an aircraft, if you are traveling with a child or dependent, you are advised to put the mask on yourself before you put the mask on the dependent. You can't pour from an empty cup. So don't get me wrong. Community is important. And it is not the bad things, it's the good things that come to distract you. Not the obvious bad things where you say, oh no, I'm not doing that because it's a waste of my time. It's the good things that distract you. But not everything that is good is right. Not everything that is good is right for you in that time. So you're not forgotten, you're not cursed, no one put a mark on you, you're not a failure, you're not stuck. You're distracted. Distraction can disguise itself as delay. Distraction can disguise itself as lack of purpose, lack of resources, indecision and confusion. Distraction has the shape-shifting quality of a demon. So why do we do it if it's so bad? Why do we distract ourselves? I present to you 4 reasons why we distract ourselves. Fake progress effect, analysis paralysis, fear of achievement, and external validation. Fake progress effect is that cognitive ease that you get from being busy achieving stuff, other people's stuff. And it is very tricky because it makes you feel like you're making progress, but you're making progress in the wrong direction. It's dangerous. No one is tricking you. You're tricking yourself. Next, we experience what I like to call analysis paralysis, where you spend more time in your head trying to analyze how to get the goal started rather than in action, actually completing the goal. And so you are stuck at SAS, stuck at start. Replace analysis paralysis with hitting the ground running. Next, fear of achievement. Believe it or not, some of us fear our own greatness. And it comes from the same place that doubts your own greatness. Next up, external validation. External validation is that praise or that fawning admiration that you get from someone when you help them. They say, oh, thank you so much. I could not have done it without you. Thank God for you. If it wasn't for you, I would not have made it. I thank you so much. That is fawning adoration. And it validates your worth, which is very different from fulfillment. But that external validation can come from within if only you would focus on your goals. When King David was carrying the Ark of the Covenant, the oxen that was pulling the cart, that was carrying the Ark of the Covenant, stumbled. And then the Ark of the Covenant, that gold thing there, lost its balance. And then Uzzah stretched out his hand to balance the Ark of the Covenant. And what happened to Uzzah? God strike him down right there, kill him. And I said to myself when I was younger, well, that was a little bit much. Uzzah was doing something good, so why did God strike him down? And then I've come to realize that Uzzah's purpose was to guide the oxen that was carrying the cart that was pulling the Ark of the Covenant. And so I learned that if you step outside of your purpose, it will not bear any fruit. If you keep getting distracted, you can miss your calling. If you keep getting distracted, you can miss that grand opportunity that you've been waiting for. Now, don't panic. Opportunities are endless. If you miss one, you can get another one. But how many times do you want to be broke? You're getting older. How many times do you want to be making the same mistake? How long do you want to live in failure? How many times do you want to have to pick up the pieces? Aren't you tired? You are not stuck. You are distracted. Distraction can disguise itself, as I said before, as lack of resources or indecisiveness. And so right now we need to look at what is the opposite of distraction. The opposite of distraction is focused. Really? That's the grand exposure. Focused? Yes. Focus. Since we have dissected distraction, how do we know expertise? That's a new word. New word. How do we know expertise ourselves? It's not a real word, but it gets my point across. How do we know become experts at being focused? What is focus? Focus is the specific attention or a specific work that is done towards a point, goal, or activity. Why do we need it? Well, if we're doing the opposite of what we used to do before, then we will get the opposite results. So if distraction keeps you stuck, then by reasonable deduction, focus should get you moving. Focus can change your life. Focus will allow you to see ideas and think of strategies you never thought of before. Focus can produce progress. Focus can get you in rooms that you never thought you could be in. Focus can give you exceedingly abundantly above all you could ask, think, or imagine. So now that we have the power move, focus, I want you to hop back on your journey. Right now you are renewed. This moment you are renewed. But you're going to do things a little differently. Everything leading up from then to now, to this moment, at the time that it says on your watch, your iPad, this thing on your wrist from Apple Watch. Everything from before leading up to right now is the past. And you're going to be moving on to the future differently. And now I put it to you that you are not distracted, you are focused. And on this journey, in order for you to remain focused, how do we remain focused? I have 8 magical ways that you can remain focused. And they are magical once you put them in practice. First one, the vision. Write your vision, make it plain. I'm not even going to get into that because many of you have written your vision. You color coded it. You have it in an exercise book. You have your vision board. You've shared it to your friends. You've placed it on Pinterest. You went to your pastor. You went to your counselor. You know your vision. I don't need to go into that. You have written SMART goals. Number 2, learn to say no. No is a mannerly, complete, polite sentence. You're not being selfish. You are being self-considerate. If it is a friend that drains you or a favor that drains you, say no. If it is an opportunity that is not aligned with your purpose, say no. Every malaligned yes drains energy for what is important. If it is someone that wants access but not accountability, say no. And that goes for both your professional and personal relationships. Access to you is a privilege, not a right. If it is something that does not help you along your journey, say no. Elevation begins with strategic elimination. Next, you need discipline. Cliche, right? Discipline is the ability to show up every day and do the same thing, even if you're jaded, even if you're tired, once it is aligned with your goal. Next, you need consistency. Consistency sounds a lot like discipline, but it is not. Consistency is the ability to show up each day and do the same thing, but with the same level or an increasing level of quality and efficacy. So discipline will get you to the gym every day, but consistency will make sure that each workout counts. The next thing you need is an accountability partner. Accountability comes from mentors, not your friends. Your friends are there to comfort you when you are down, but mentors are there to pull you higher. And so you need accountability. If you want to go somewhere, you have to take accountability and advice from someone who is already where you want to go. Next, motivation. Notice I didn't say motivation first because trust me, motivation is not created by you. Motivation is generated once you have discipline and you have consistency. Discipline will take you where motivation cannot. Motivation is a byproduct of discipline and consistency, and then when you see your results, you are motivated to continue. So don't try to motivate yourself. Try to have discipline and consistency. Next, celebrate. Celebrate the small wins because the brain is designed to build momentum when you recognize your small win. And then finally, rejuvenate. In order for you to rejuvenate yourself, you have to understand this entire mind, spirit, body, soul thing that you have here from head to toe. And in order for us to examine the needs for this, what we call our body, mind, and spirit, it is explained best by Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The first one, rejuvenate by satisfying your physiological needs, food, shelter, water. Then satisfying your safety needs, an income, insurance, stability, security. Then love and belonging. This is where you find community, you find friends, intimacy, where you belong to a group. Esteem. This is where you find gratification, being recognized for your greatness, satisfaction, knowing that someone finds you worthy or a community finds you worthy. And then finally, self-actualization. This is where you find your purpose. You fulfill your purpose in this life. So these are the basic 5 needs of this entire thing right here. And every day while you're on your journey and you are remaining focused, you have to take the time out to satisfy all of these needs. Do one small thing each day. So if it is going out, having some good time with your friends, not too much, know when to pull it back and engage in some discipline and some consistency and saying no. Create balance with each day that you have. So now I put it to you that you are not confused, you don't lack resources, you are clever to find the opportunity within the chaos. You are not depressed and downtrodden, you are elevated and on the move. You are not sad, you are happy, you're not tired, you are rested. No longer will you walk around in circles being confused and downtrodden because you are headed straight on that linear path to success and peace. So today, I invite you to remember that you are no longer distracted, you are focused. Remain focused and watch your life change. Thank you.